Welcome back to the channel. This is Project Life 2025. Today I'm working on week 2, and I thought I would kind of show you somewhat of my process. Usually I print my photos off camera and I do my journaling off camera. And when I print my photos, I use my little Canon selfie, which is great, but the problem is I can't film printing my photos because I use my camera to print my photos. So I thought I would just kind of come on and show you all of the steps. So the first step is cutting everything down and figuring out where that's going to go. So I will do that right now. When I print my photos from my phone, I use the Project Life app, but you can basically use any app. I like the app because it allows you to put 2 3x4 photos side by side like this. And then when I print, I just set my little printer to print it with a border. And then that way my photos are always just a little bit smaller than the regular 4x6 and 3x4 size for Project Life. And that means that I can use my scrapbook paper to mat all of my photos. But if that's not really your jam, you can print them to their normal size, borderless, and then that way they will take up basically the entire pocket that you're looking to fill. No scrapbook paper necessary. Okay, so this tends to be more or less how I start. I figure out what I want to put where, so this will be filler card. This will be just maybe a big embellishment, title card, and that's kind of where we are. So I think this feels more like a rainbow kit kind of page to me. So I am going to grab my bin of cards. I'll pick out all my cards and I'll show you what that looks like on camera. So nothing very high tech here. This is just a bin. And you can see it's got all of my 4x6 cards in it. And this is just one of the little Michael's drawer organizer bins. And that's got all my 3x4 cards in it. So what I tend to do is look for a color or like a color scheme that I want to use in the layout. And this is feeling very saturated red, orangey green, and then this one I may go with the red in my sweater, but we'll see how we go. Right now I'm looking for a good filler card, and this, as you can see, this is just like all of the cards that I've got already made. Not quite. No. I kind of like that one, actually. Maybe I'll lean into the black, white, and red, which is also a good option. All right, so I think we're going to lean into the black, white, red. And I'm just pulling whatever happens to be the first thing my hands touch. I'm trying not to overthink this. have a lot of red though. A lot of pink, but not a lot of red. We'll use some solids. Okay, so I definitely need red. That'll do. See if I can cut that one down. All right, so we still have a couple of cards. Don't like that one there. We still have a couple of cards that we've got to figure out. So I'm going to go find some actual red and I'll be right back. All right, so here's where we are. I grabbed this little filler card from my rainbow kit. I cut down 2 pieces of 4x6 paper and I grabbed this. I'm thinking I'm going to actually cut out the word week, and I may have to switch out my letters to something different because I don't think that the gold glitter on that is actually going to show up very well. I may actually swap those two. Yeah, I think I'm going to swap these. See if I can find something else. I will be right back. All right, so I took it in a different direction. Because this little card here had the wood grain on it, I decided to pull in some wood grain for this card and this card. Everything is now stuck down, and I'm going to have to rethink my plan for my title card. So I'm thinking maybe a little bit of red there maybe. And I may I may do a shadow cut actually. I think that's what I'm going to do. All right, so I will do some very quick die cutting and I'll be right back. All right, so my plan is to do a little something like that for my card. But first I'm going to have to figure out how I want to position it. So I just grabbed a little piece of washi tape and I put it across this piece of cardstock. And I think this is how I'm going to help myself line everything up. So I'm also going to see if I've got, I don't think I've got any other little scraps that I can use. That might come in useful. I know. I'll be right back. I just grabbed my little washi stick and I'm going to see if I can use this heart doodle washi. It is very old and does not want to come off the roll. So I might have to use a different one. Let's use maybe the bigger dots or the stripes. Let's try the stripes. That's the problem with storing your washi like that. The sun damages the adhesive. And sometimes when you go to use it, it won't come off. Here we go. We'll go with that for now. I might leave these here because I might find another use for them. But for now, that's good. All right, so I'm going to stick this probably right about here, and I'll be right back. So now I have my anchor point, and I think I'm ready to put my letters down. I don't know if I want to go white in the background and red in the front. I actually kind of like the way that looks. Okay, so I will start to glue these. This is going to be tedious, so I won't make you watch me do this. All right, so there we go. And now I think I'm going to use black for the word to instead of my original plan for gold. I'll be right back. I found these chipboard stickers in my stash, so thought that'd be a good chance to use those. I don't really know if there's a way to use them anywhere else. They're quite big. Put them aside. All right, now we need a couple of labels. As I've said many times before, picking the cards and the color scheme are always the thing that take the most time for me when I'm doing this process. I feel like when I pull out all my cards, I get very distracted by everything and just so many choices, which is why I don't usually film this part of the process. It took me, I want to say like a half an hour maybe, to go through all of my cards and kind of figure out what I wanted to do. And then I went into my stash because I had a very specific embellishment in mind for that lower 4x6 card, which was that felt covered heart. So I find that if I allow myself, this process from start to finish can take about an hour. And sometimes that's fine, but sometimes you've got other things to do, like meal prep or, cleaning your house. My house is not clean right now. And just you don't want to devote as much time as I did to this particular layout. Um, I tend to do a lot of what you see off camera, as I've said many times before. And the reason for that is because I don't always do it in one sitting. I tend to print my photos and then I'll walk away and, play with the dogs or do whatever I need to do around the house. And then I may come back to it a little later. And so I tend to scrapbook, or I guess memory keep, in stages. And I do most of it on the weekend. So the filming that you see me do, where it's like, 7-minute videos, is not at all realistic. What it really looks like is probably an hour to maybe an hour and a half, start to finish, photo printing, paper selection, journaling, filming, and then the cleanup. It's probably between an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on how fussy I'm getting with the page. And this page, I wouldn't say, is one of my more time intensive pages. It's pretty standard for me, but you don't get to see a lot of the decision making that happens because I tend to do it off camera. So if you're someone who, is struggling with your memory keeping, just know that you are not alone. And this is why I'm so far behind in my memory keeping this year. It just feels like especially when you're filming the process, it can be a lot of added steps. And sometimes you just want to get in your craft room and play around with paper and stuff, and you don't want to be bothered with all of the fussing. So this rainbow kit is one that I haven't touched in a while, and I'm really glad I dug it out again because it reminded me of how much stuff I have in it. So this and my Maggie Holmes kit are probably the most full kits that I have. I have a rainbow kit, Maggie Holmes kit, a neutral kind of vintage junk journal-y kind of kit, and then I've got other random holiday ones, like I've got 3 for Christmas, and I've got them sorted into various different styles of paper. I've got one for Halloween. Now I have one for Valentine's Day. So I've got a lot of supplies. And I joined a swap group again just to kind of help me make a bigger dent by, sharing my supplies with crafty friends. So I'm hoping to really scale down what I've got this year. I say that every year, but it's so easy to accumulate scraps, and then my scraps turn into embellishments usually. I love making embellishments. It's probably one of my favorite paper crafting things to do. I've realized how much I enjoy die cutting. So die cuts will always be in every project I make. Most of my die cuts are embellishments and things that I've made myself, like that little felt, well, it's not little, that large felt heart that I made. And that just lives in my embellishment toolkit. So looks like I'm back to you live here in a minute. All right, week 2, all done. And I am quite happy with the way this turned out. There's a lot of hearts on it, but that's okay. I really like this felt die cut. That's super fun. So off camera, I dug through my little rainbow kit tray and I found some little gems, some little heart-shaped gems, a little BFF planning, and a tiny red label. I also found these currently and caught on film in that little tray. And those are just little words that I did on my computer years ago, cut up and put in the tray for storage. All right, so that's it for me for today, friends. As always, thanks for coming to hang out with me, and I will see you next video. Bye for now.